Hey guys, welcome to Your Space TV. Here we are, another video. This one's gonna be interesting. We're gonna be talking about the Starliner capsule that's scheduled to launch pretty soon. It's made by Boeing. And Boeing is exactly what we're gonna be talking about today. Let's roll that beautiful drama about Boeing. Today, I'm going to be telling you what you should know about the Boeing Starliner Orbital spacecraft. Boeing, as many of you know, is a commercial aviation company. They built the first ever single-engine, two-seat seaplane, the B and W. Not the BMW, that's a car. And they did it for the US Navy back in July of 1916 in Seattle, Washington. However, the American company hasn't necessarily been in the highest standards in the recent years. Boeing years ago was known worldwide as a company that could outperform any other competitor in class and technology. If you worked at Boeing, you would brag about it a lot. But unfortunately, a recent culture change has emerged that has degraded them in the eyes of the world, and it's called greed.
What do you know, a greedy pirate?
Making a product the quickest way possible, even if it means lacking or shortcutting in quality, is dangerous. And even safety at times has been compromised. The company even moved their facilities from Chicago to Washington, D.C., so they could be closer to Congress, closer to the bureaucrats that feed them, or be closer to American pockets. Let's talk about Boeing's issues.
You know, normally a patient wouldn't have a vat of scotch during a session.
So Boeing was being beat in the aviation industry by Europe's Airbus in 2017. And they drew all their attention to the 737 MAX aircraft. Their attention consists of employees working over 16-hour shifts a day, which, hey, it really isn't surprising in this industry. What was shocking is that the employees were doing jobs that they weren't qualified to do. They had no training and they had no certification to work on this particular part of this aircraft. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily tell your handyman to build you a house, right? So to boost productivity, they were building 52 737 MAX aircraft a month. Get them out quicker, get them out faster. That's exactly what they were doing. This, as a lot of you may know, is the perfect storm for production problems. And sadly, those unnecessary risks came crashing down literally in 2018, when two 737s MAX aircraft crashed, killing a total of 346 people. Some people higher up in the company wanted to put a freeze on production just months before the first accident. But instead, a few months later, the second crash happened. After that, the 737 was grounded for repairs following an investigation that lasted from March of 2019 to December of 2020. All the blame falling on Boeing, of course, but the fingers were getting pointed at the FAA as well. So with all that being said, is the new Boeing Starliner capsule being built under the same practices and pressures that they had during developing the 737? Well, we don't know, but I'll tell you what I do know. Now, I know that building a spacecraft and space capsules isn't easy. The Artemis Orion capsule was delayed many times, and SpaceX Dragon capsules came with many challenges and delays. But SpaceX was a fairly new company. They were learning as they were going along. Boeing has been a company with so much aviation and space history. They're supposed to have an edge on space. Why so many costly setbacks for NASA? I mean, Boeing had parts in developing the magnificent 1970s moon rocket, the Saturn V.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Why did NASA pick Boeing? Well, many American companies were in line to develop the new American spacecraft. An American spacecraft that was going to take the US back into space. Remember, the retirement of the space shuttle stopped America exploration into space for 10 years. NASA wanted two companies to meet their space traveling needs. They learned their lesson with the tragedies of Columbia and Challenger. If anything were to happen with one spacecraft, NASA will have the backup company to trust on to keep the space industry going for the US without having to rely on another country. In 2014, NASA contracted Boeing and SpaceX to share $6.8 billion to make our capsules so we can continue our missions to the ISS. Like I said before, SpaceX was an early development and was taking the time to do it right. Even though small mistakes were made, they were going to make it effective. And Boeing just wanted to beat SpaceX. That's it. In 2019, Boeing and NASA launched the first ever Starliner capsule, unmanned of course, to reach the International Space Station. But that expensive test flight failed. It wasn't the Atlas V rocket. The Atlas V is one of the most reliable rockets that ULA has in their fleet. It failed due to two programming maneuvers. The spacecraft internal timers were off by 11 hours. Duh! Putting the Starliner in the wrong orbit, preventing it to reaching the ISS. I mean, okay, fine, they did manage to return to Earth safely, landing in White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico. I got it, the airbags deployed, the parachutes deployed. Cool, got it. So one major failure is okay, right? No, wrong. It's not. The spacecraft had another major failure. The computerized thrusters failed as well. Those thrusters control the angle of the Starliner, and it appeared that they realized it when they were already in the wrong orbit. This failure was big according to NASA. A misfire of a thruster while docked to the International Space Station would have been horrible. And according to the Starliner design, the Starliner thruster issue could have damaged the heat shield. So that also could have happened with this failure, which is not something to be taken lightly. These two issues are the most serious problems any space capsule could have. Needless to say, it was a failed mission in my opinion, and that's just because it was Boeing, a real aerospace company, a company funded by NASA for decades. This mission was going to be Boeing's proof that development of the Boeing products was fixed and improved since the whole 737 MAX issues. Boeing was knee-deep in crap after that. They had a reputation to prove, and NASA was really worried. It's not like Starliner is designed to just carry payloads. It's designed to carry astronauts, human beings. Come on, man.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Well, since 2019, the CEO of Boeing has now been replaced. You're fired. Holy cow, doesn't this guy look like Soren from Star Trek Generations? My Trekkie fans would notice.
Just who the hell are you?
He's James T. Cook.
Me voy a matar. Whee! NASA and Boeing continue saying that they are seeing so many improvements for the Starliner spacecraft of Test 2. We're going to be ready for this second test. I sure hope all this Boeing drama has now passed and they can keep moving forward safely, because I don't know what's going to happen to them if they don't. Since the last failure, NASA has shifted two astronauts that were going to ride on Starliner over to SpaceX. NASA needs to ensure the safety of all astronauts no matter what they're riding on. So I guess NASA is just giving Boeing more time to improve their product. Really? All these setbacks for Boeing is coming at a really challenging time. Boeing's revenue has dropped dramatically in the last 2 years to almost half. That's no bueno. Space defense has always been the biggest revenue for Boeing since the beginning. So if Starliner can't launch and they come across other issues, I believe their failure will have a domino effect throughout the whole company. So this second test is crucial for Boeing. Safety is not an option and performance is key. But at the end, in the bigger picture, in my opinion, the cost is key. And being that Starliner still hasn't done its second test, while SpaceX has already gone to the International Space Station, what, 22, 23 times? I see the possibility of limited missions by Boeing Starliner. It would really suck if they don't continue the legacy that NASA wants for them. This saying that if it's Boeing, it's not going, makes all the NASA officials and government have stank face. Stop saying that, bro. Stop saying that. Stop saying that, bro. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's SpaceX, Dragon capsule, and the brand new Freedom capsule, they're flourishing. And SpaceX has proved that success comes to those that do things right. So I will be there for this second test of Starliner, a redo mission. They'll be launching from Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on May 19th. The launch time is scheduled for 6:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as making this video. The capsule was just taken back shortly to the ULA Tower for restacking. So all eyes and hopes are going to be on Starliner again. Hopefully this time in the right orbit so it can dock to the International Space Station and stay there for 2 weeks. That way the astronauts could have crucial supplies up in the orbiting laboratory. Now, if I hear any updates or any changes in this, I will bring it to you here where your space is important to me, as it should be to you. Well, Starliner, let's see what's going to happen. Thank you guys for watching. God bless.